All right, so let's go back 18 years where it all began. We met at Northeastern freshman year of college, and one of the first things that we bonded over was flag football. We joined an intramural flag football league with our friends in our dorm, basically. And I just wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to do something new and just enjoy a sport with my friends, so that's really how it started.
Yeah, and basically we took that momentum from that original Terror Squad intramural flag football team, and we went to all sorts of leagues. And whatever league was available, we were always playing together, and it was just a really good bonding experience for all of us.
Yeah, throughout that time, it was all co-ed. We were playing together, and I felt like pretty good about my abilities as a football player. I was starting to get a little bit more confident. And then one day while we were at work, somebody came into our place of work to recruit our boss for a women's full contact flag football league. And I overheard it and I was like, oh, I play too, can I play? And she kind of like laughed at me. I think I didn't look the part maybe. She was like, you know, I said full contact flag, right? And I was like, yeah, I want to play. And I had a pretty good amount of confidence, I felt like, about myself as a female football player at that time. And then I went to my first practice and I was like, oh, this is very legit. Like, these women have either been playing football, a lot of the women were rugby players, basketball players, like they were really, really good athletes. And this took everything to the next level for me when it came to football. And I mean, my confidence was like from here to here. I felt like I was totally out of my element and out of my league when I first joined.
But I always knew that Lauren had the foundation. Like, she has a track background, she has a gymnastics background, so she has the speed, she has the strength. It was just a matter of putting it all together with all these fine details that football has to offer, and I just knew that all it took was a little bit of time, a lot of practice to get to that point.
And yeah, the first couple seasons, I was one of the faster ones on the field, so I would always be open and I could not catch the ball. Like, I was so afraid, I became so in my head about catching the ball that it was all I could even think about and focus on was like, am I gonna drop the ball? Which is really not a good mindset to be going into it with. So Jason just kept getting me out there like every day, going outside and throwing a few passes and just making sure that I just kept getting more and more exposure to the football and having it in my hands and getting more confident with catching. So actually I started to get so serious about it that I even tried out for the Boston Renegades. So that is the tackle league. I was thinking I could probably play in that league at this point. I tried out, I went to a tryout. I think we have some footage of that tryout. I did pretty well at the tryout, and I think 2 weeks later we found out I was pregnant, so that ended up not happening. I had Kendrick, our firstborn, and then I took a season off. Then I played again the following season. Then the pandemic hit, we missed a season. Then I got pregnant with Kinsley. I had her in September, and I was able to actually play that season starting in October. And I remember one of the coolest moments for me was breastfeeding her on the sidelines. I was playing in this full contact, pretty intense sports league and being a mom at the same time. And that sort of really made it feel extra special for me that I could continue to do something that had become such a big part of my identity with my kids, and now they come to the games and they watch and support, and it's just become like a really big family event. And now we're done having kids. We can get even more serious about you know, football in general, and so I decided to, this past year, I joined a travel league. I've been doing some different styles of play, so I did a 5-on-5 league, and just kind of exposing myself to even more of the sport and taking it even more seriously.
I feel like within the last 2 or 3 years, you've made a complete quantum leap in terms of your production, your ability to catch the ball, your knowledge of the game. I'm sending you Instagram clips every other day about different drills, different ways to run routes and all that, and I feel like it's all coming to a head.
Yeah, it's really come together, and way back in the day it was like, am I gonna catch the ball? Now that's not even a question, it's more about like, ooh, can I get this corner to bite hard on the inside and I, you know, make a breakaway cut to the outside, and it's just like a lot more skill involved in my style of play now, and that's been just really fun to hone in and play around with. And so when the news came out that flag football was gonna be Olympic sport, I mean, literally everyone was texting me. Like, everyone in my family, my dad was texting me, friends were texting me, like, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna try out? People on Instagram were messaging. And I was kind of laughing it off. I was like, I'll be 41, like, it would have been cool if it happened 15, 20 years ago. And Jason right away was just taking it really seriously and making me start to question, like, could this be something that I try out for?
I mean, as soon as it was in the news that it was getting voted on, I immediately started looking into just the whole process of what it would actually take to make it to the U.S. national team. And there are a lot of checkpoints along the way, but all of it seemed very manageable. And I was just scouting out the overall competition. I was thinking, with 4 additional years under her belt, improving at the same rate that you have been improving, I'm like, there's a realistic shot that it could happen. And so even if it doesn't happen, it's still a cool story, and it's just a great way to, continue to bond and get the kids involved. And I think it's just a cool experience to try to go for. So there's a lot of steps along the way, but I mean, flag football overnight has become almost completely legitimized, right?
Count me in already. Hopefully there's no trials and they just accept me, but I'm in. I'm going for that if there is flag football in the Olympics in 2028.
Like, who wouldn't want to do that, though? To travel the world, to travel to LA and compete in a flag championship. That'd be crazy.
Tyreek Hill, Rob Gronkowski, all these players, NFL players, are wanting to be involved, and I think people are taking it way more seriously. So, I mean, the competition is going to get just skyrocket from this point on. So it's going to be a lot of work, but I think the process is going to be really fun to train for and watch, hopefully.
Let's see how far we get.